Hello YouTube, this is Jay Coder back with another stream, and today I'm going to be going over HTML IDs. And if you like this kind of thing, subscribe to this channel and like this video, comment on this video. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so I have my Visual Studio Code here on the screen, and we're going to, like I said, be going over HTML IDs. Last time we went over classes. HTML IDs are very similar to HTML classes. The ID attribute is used to specify a unique ID for an HTML element. And with ID, you cannot have more than one element with the same ID in an HTML document. So I'm going to show you an example of the using the ID. And the thing about the ID is it actually doesn't, or it's not the same character as the class, which is a dot, but this time it has a hashtag or a number sign or a hash character here. And I also believe it's called the pound sign. But nonetheless, it's this instead of a dot. And so within how you use your ID is you put it within your styling, which we have the style tags here. And you can also put it inside your custom CSS file that you have. But we're going to put it here in our style tag. And we're going to put some styles that we want to include inside this single my header. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to pick some colors here to add to it. So background color is that. Then the foreground color is going to be blue. And the padding is going to be 40 pixels. And the text alignment will be center. Alright, so I have these stylings here, and then how I use my header is I actually go down to where I want to use it, which I want to use it on my header. And so I'm going to say the ID is equal to my header. So you use this pound sign symbol to indicate it's an ID, but remember, on both classes and IDs, you do not use the symbol when you put them in the tag that you want to use them with. Alright, and after that, let's see. And when you add different attributes here, you can actually, let's see, add the, well, let's actually delete our current styling, which we have our own styling here. And so to keep it simple, we are using the my header styling for our HTML ID website. And now let's see what that looks like. So, all right. this is what this looks like. And remember, I have the background color is this tan color. The color of the text is this blue color. And it is 40 pixels on the padding. And it also is text align center. All right, so all of this is affecting my header. And that's one example of how you use it. And the difference between a class and an ID, a class name can be used by multiple HTML elements, while an ID name must be used by one HTML element within the page. So, for instance, what if I added a class in our styling to kind of demonstrate the difference? So I'm going to go ahead and add another thing, which, how do I specify it's a class? I use a dot. So I'm going to use a dot, and this is going to be a city. We're going to name it city. And then within, I'm going to set the different stylings to different colors within here. So this one's going to be brown, the background color, and the color of the text will be azure, and the padding will be 10 pixels. So we have our city class and our my header ID. And with the city class, I can use it multiple times. For example, all right, I used my header ID one time, boom. That's all the times I can use that unless I declare more IDs. And now with my city class, I can use it as many times as I want. So I'm going to uh, do this equal to a city. This is going to be New York, and it's going to apply a styling that I set above, which is here. And remember the difference between an ID and a class? ID is £, class is dot. Now we will do the next city for the example here. So let me do like a little instruction, a little description here. Biggest city. And then I'm going to do the next one, which I can go ahead and copy this. And then I'm going to change the name of the city. The city is going to be called Chicago. And I believe they have a sports team named Browns. And then I'm going to do one more city just to display what's going on. It's going to be Kansas City. They are good at baby barbecue and foot and NFL. So at the moment. All right. So I have these examples of the cities, and this is to emphasize that when you use a ID in the city, with the ID you can only use it one time. With the classes, you can use it multiple times. So I have three here and one here, and you must remember that distinction. So this is my city styling there. All right. So remember that difference when you're using IDs and classes, which means you can only use an ID once, classes multiple times. And all right, so you can also do some things with links with IDs. So there's something called HTML bookmarks with IDs and links. HTML bookmarks are used to allow readers to jump to specific parts of a web page. Bookmarks can be used if your page is very long. To use a bookmark, you must first create it and then add a link to it. Then, when the link is clicked, the page will scroll to the location with the bookmark. So, I'm going to show you guys an example here. And and so for instance, let me add up here a header, and I'm going to say ID, and it's going to be, and my ID will be, so basically with bookmarks, let me put an ID of C4, and that's just the thing I'm naming it. I'm naming it that because it stands for chapter. And actually, I'm going to do C1. And this is going to be chapter 1. And then I'm going to copy and paste these contents so that I can have more content. All right. And then after that content, I'm going to post a link that says, so down here, I'm going to do an href, and then I'm going to use my ID C1, and then I'm going to say back to chapter 1. All right, so I have done that, and let's see what that does. Please notice here that I'm using href, and I'm going to the ID that I made up here called C1, and I don't use the hashtag here, but I do use the hashtag here for the actual href link. And let's see what that does as we test it. So here is the website, and we say chapter 1 is all of this stuff. Then we scroll, and then at the end, it says back to chapter 1, And let's click that and see what happens. So we click that, and then boom, it takes us back up to the page to chapter 1. And remember how much I was scrolling? And then you hit that, boom, we're back. So you can do that to skip to certain places on the page. You just have to remember the syntax, and you don't have to declare this ID in the actual styling, because it does not need to do any type of styling. So what it is doing is a bookmark. So you declare the ID up here for the first time at the place that you want the bookmark to jump to. And this time, you don't need the hashtag until you make the link to the bookmark. And when you make the link, you use the hashtag, and it's going to be href. And it's not. This is not going to be ID. This is going to be href. This is href because it's a link. And so this is telling it to go to the ID C1. And then when you click it, boom, it jumps. The page jumps to that specified area. So also, you can use the ID attribute in JavaScript. The ID attribute can also be used by JavaScript to perform some tasks for that specific element. JavaScript can access an element with a specific ID with getElementById method. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. So let's say we add a script to this HTML, and inside the script will be some JavaScript. In order for me to write JavaScript, I will need to make a script tag like so, and then inside the JavaScript, we're going to make a custom function called display results. So inside, I had to spell it correctly, function. And then inside this, we're going to say in here, this is also code. We're going to say document dot get element by ID. And we're going to get our ID by header. And then we're going to say get the inner HTML of that header. And then we're going to set the inner HTML of that header. And it's going to say have a nice day, edited by the script. So instead of saying what we put HTML ID website, it's going to change that to what our script sets it to. So let's go ahead and run that and see what we get. All right. So what we have here is HTML ID website, and then we have the script here, and then we have the okay. So in JavaScript, in order to perform a function, we need to actually call it. So we declared the function and we put the body of the function, but we never called the function. So let's go ahead and call the function and see what that does. All right. And there we go. It says, have a nice day, edited by the script. So basically, this script executed, it found where our my header ID was set, and then pretty much took over that ID and set it to the text that it wanted it to be, which is have a nice day, edited by the script. So basically, it found this my header, and then inside the my header, it replaced the inner HTML with what I just told you. And so basically, in a script, JavaScript, you can say document dot, and you use this, which is called a method, get element by ID, and then you pass in the ID that you want to get, and then you say dot inner HTML, the HTML between the starting and ending tag of that of that uh, tag of the ID or element of the ID, and it will set the text within that or content within that to this. All right, guys, and that is actually the final example I wanted to show you guys today. And thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment, and I hope you guys learn something. And until next time, stay coding and peace.